Hello everyone, I'm Amethyst Dream Witch, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about books of spells, grimoires, book of shadows. Some people, some practitioners will say they are one and the same, or that they are all different, or that one is different to the other two. And if you were to ask me what that is, I would say all of the above, but it depends on you as an individual. So for me personally, I have a lot of, I basically have one of everything. One of all of them, but I do have some individual specific places. So for example, the easiest thing is a book of spells. Now I have a spell book. It says spells on it. It's my spell book. I say it's my spell book. I do write the monthly spells that I get from the rituals that I get from Witchcraft. So they get written in here. So for example, where's the most recent one? So the most recent one was a stone casting letting go ritual. So that's written in here. And that's not mine. It's not mine. The difference, how I differentiate between the two is if it's my personal spell or a spell that I do with my coven, then I will write the date, the first date that I did that spell. So when I did my home protection spell, I put the date, it was a Tuesday. I've got the day, the month, the year, even the moon phase, although you don't have to include as much information about the day you do it as you want to include. So most of them I've just got the date. It's especially the longer ones where it's, you know, the whole page and I've just got the date in the corner. That's how I write my spells. So this is my spell book. This is where I write all the spells that I want to keep hold of, but also spells that I've done myself. So I've done a healing knot spell. I've written that date down as well. A healing spell bag, I've written that date down. So many others, like there's so many. I've got so many. Most of the spells in this top part, are spells that I haven't done because I've written them from the spell kit. As an example, the spell kit, the instructions to the spell that I've received in a Witchcraft kit. So when I get a moment, that will go in this book. And I am particular about this spell book because it's purple. My favourite colour is purple. So I have purple ink. It is definitely purple. You can tell from the residue on the inside. It's purple ink. And I also have a quill pen, which I love to use. It is purple. It is very purple. It's just a dark purple. And it's one of those old-fashioned ones where I have to dip the nib into my pot of ink in order to write. And I love that. It's so oldie worldy, but it suits me. I love that. I incorporate it into my spell work because it's it's special to me. So if you don't want to use a quill pen or even a fountain pen and you want to use a ballpoint pen or even a pencil, go for it. If you want to use a computer, a tablet, your phone as where you keep a record of your spells, do it. Nothing is stopping you from doing that apart from you. It is your choice because it is your craft. It is a craft, it's personal. So that's my particular spell book. I do have other spell books. For example, I've got 3 of these. So there's this little book of practical magic. I've got a crystal one, I've got a herb one, and moon magic. Here we go. See, sorry, my witchy bookshelf, my magical bookshelf is just off to my right as I'm sitting here. I've got Witch's Book of Self-Care. Magical ways to pamper, soothe and care for your body and spirit. There's a series of these as well. Green Witch, House Witch. There's probably others, but this is all about self-care, which is highly important and has been heavily referenced in some of the things that I've done and not made a note of. Knot spells. Things you can do with a bit of string, some threads, and, you know, if that's what you've got to hand. Candle magic. Who doesn't love candles? Like, it's you know, this is just all about candle burning. Burning candles, what to do, how to do it, you know, goal setting candles. Create harmony at home, lay old ghosts to rest. You know, there's all sorts, and these are more ideas. So these are more ideas. What could I do? I've run out of space. I need a bigger bookshelf. So it's, you know, I'm limited as to how many books I can have. But another thing that I like is this book, Modern Witchcraft Spellbook. Not only does it have spells in it, but there's information. Like, what is a Book of Shadows is just a miniature paragraph early on in the book. My cats are being brats. Well, one of them is. Brat. Anyway, so what is a Book of Shadows? A Book of Shadows is a witch's personal journal of their magical experiences. Here you keep track of your spells, rituals and other things related to your development as a magical practitioner. It's like a cook's collection of recipes. Often you'll hear the words Grimoire and Book of Shadows used interchangeably, although some differences existed in earlier times. Grimoires served as guidebooks that described spells and rituals. A Book of Shadows might also include its author's musings or insights related to a spell, as well as their dreams, feelings, and other asides. So to me, I have lots of grimoires. Grimoires? Yes. According to this, I have a lot of grimoires because each one of these books, you know, all the other informational books I have, including this one, is a grimoire. It's a grimoire. It may say spellbook on it, but to me, it's more of a reference book. It's a grimoire to me. Now, it could be a spellbook to you. It could also be a grimoire. It could be something completely different. You know, it's, again, it's your personal feelings about it. If you feel like it's more of a grimoire, that's fine. If you feel like it's more of a book of shadows, that's fine. Whatever it feels like to you is okay. And provided they are your own books, if you do a spell that is in a book such as this and you want to make notes, add in that you did something different, do it. It's your book. If you've bought it, it's your book. This is not a library book. There's no inference. There's nothing to note that this is a library book. So if I wanted to write in this, I could. I haven't, but I could. Same with all these other books. I can do the same with them. If I feel like a herb is more of a fire element, you know, has more ties to the fire element than air, water, I can make a note of it. Yes, there will always be the elements that a herb is traditionally associated with, but that's according to tradition. Just because it's tradition doesn't mean it's the same for everyone. To me, it's the same with tarot, but that's a separate rabbit hole to go down. So according to this description, again, I have a lot of grimoires. Lots of grimoires. I don't tend to have a book of shadows. I've got my book of spells, yes, but I've got lots of grimoires. But I kind of do have a book of shadows. To me, a book of shadows is the place where you note down your shadow work, the inner work, the personal inner work, and no one else really sees it. I share it because, you know, if someone else is going through something, you know, if one of you were going through something, if you were going through something that I'd been through and that I've done work on, and it's helped me to process whatever it is that I was working on, what's the point in keeping it to myself if it could help you? Like, if how I do my work is different to how other people do theirs. What works for one person might not work for someone else. So what works for me might not work for you, but that's okay. Take what you want to work with and make it your own. Leave the rest of it. If you'd rather have one book as your book of shadows, grimoire, book of spells, do it. Nothing's stopping you. I'm not stopping you. I'm all for it. If you want to have all three as three separate things, go for it. If you want to be like me and have lots of grimoires that you can refer to, go for it. I will never say no to more books. To people having more books in the world, I will never say no to it. Do it. Nothing's stopping you. Okay, fine. Personal finances and availability might stop you, but there's always a way. Where there's a witch, there's a way. And that's it. So, grimoire. I have a grimoire that I've sort of put together myself. And I say sort of put together myself because in every witch casket, as well as the ritual, the month, you know, at least one ritual per month. Sometimes there's two. But as on top of that ritual, there's also a scroll of information that could be useful. And what I've done is I've put it into an A4 lever arch file that was given to me by one of my closest friends, and it's not all about herbs. It's just witchcraft. So, as an example, useful altar tools. House witchery. Simple ways to add magic to your home. That's in there as well. So, I have this organised based on what makes sense for me. So I've got information, magical intent, like how to start being a witch. So useful altar tools I could get. Some of them I have, like I've got a bell, I've got besoms, brooms, I've definitely got bottles and jars and candles. I have cauldrons, plural. We all do technically. A chalice, we've all got those. They just don't all look like a chalice. Chalice being a glass goblet, like a wine glass, but not wine glass. But a wine glass could be used. Crystals, stones, incense, offering dish, pentacle. There's always a pentacle around. I've got one on this necklace. I'm never far away from a pentacle. Yeah. Wand, I have 3, possibly 4. I know I definitely have 1. Actually, 2. I've got 2 that I can see just from where I'm sitting. So I have wands. I have multiple wands I could use. I don't personally use them, but from ideas on things to acquire as a magical practitioner or witch, I've then got magical intentions, ways to cleanse your space, candle magic, preparing your candle for magic, protection aids, energy, spellcraft, spiritual connections, nature. There's all sorts of things. So this is simple daily magic. So now it's just a case of where do I want to put this? Do I have a daily magic? I've got moon water, full moon magic, moon phases for manifestation, solar magic, the elements in magic, all 5 of them, casting a magic circle, witch's brews. Don't think I do. See, another thing on magical altarware. And then the back is not where it needs to go. So, simple daily magic. It's here. Yep, this is where it's going to go. So, I'm rearranging. I'm as live, although this is recorded, how I'm doing things, how I'm talking about things, this is me. This is how I am. So, this is a scroll that I have had in this folder for quite some time, several months. It is not fully flat. Most of them won't be. But it's certainly not as tight as this. You know, it's how it happens. Oh, that was good. When you are the only witch in the house and the only person, you start to learn how you can use multiple hands, fingers at the same time, whilst only having the standard 2. I do have cats, I have familiars, and I feel like the stereotypical witch because I have a black cat. who was the brat earlier. So with this, in order to feed it in easier, this needs to be inside the scroll, inside the rolled up bit. So, apologies for the noise, I've reversed the scroll. As easy as that. So now it's the bottom, and I can turn it that way and it's still not going to say Daily Magic. So I'm feeding it in. Literally, I'm going to try and do this. This might not work. I do apologise if it doesn't. So here we go. This is as best as I can get it. See, it's already trying to fold this down. As I'm unrolling it, I just push it down. So yes, because that's a newer scroll, it's going to curl. I don't tend to open this very much. If I have a vague feeling that one of the pages in this might have information that I'm looking for to reference, then I will certainly flip through it. But the main time I use it is when I put pages in it. That's when I use it. That's where it is, and that's where my new page is. I can tell that because that is slightly darker because it's trying to lift up. So this could be deemed as a book of spells, but I personally feel like it's more of a grimoire because I don't write my spells in it. It's got ideas for spells, but so does this. And these, but I don't use them as spell books specifically. If you want to use, like, I have a blog for my Book of Shadows. That's where I write about my experiences, my insights, shadow work that I've been doing, personal shadow work that I've been doing. It won't go in here. It won't go in any of the other notebooks I have. Most of my notebooks are references. It is what it is. But at the same time, I won't. It's purely because I like the separateness of it. It's not that I like having lots and lots of notebooks and reference books. Kind of do, but that's a bonus of being me. I do what I like. If it fits with how I want to practice my craft, it's getting done. If it doesn't fit, I'll adapt the spell, the idea to fit my craft, my practice. So if you want to have something like I do, you don't have to have a blog either. I do because that's what I wanted to do. You can use notebooks. Plenty of notebooks out there in the world. Spell books, again, notebook. Just use a notebook. Doesn't have to be like mine. There are notebooks out there that are sold that are, leather bound, more machine made, but made to look more handmade than anything else. But you can do what fits with you, is the point I'm trying to make. If having lots of grimoires makes sense, like for me, go for it. If you don't want to have lots and lots of grimoires and reference books and things, but you do want to have lots of spell books. Like these, that other people might use as grimoires. Do it. If you want to have one notebook or one folder even as your book of shadows, do it. Nothing's stopping you. If you need someone to give you permission, right here, right now, you have permission to do whatever you feel is right for keeping track of your spells, your experiences, references. It's completely up to you how you do things. So I hope this was useful. I hope it was interesting. You got a little peek into, little look-see into how my witchy brain works. So yeah, I've got notebooks. I've got lots of notebooks, but that's me. That's me. Anyway, I hope you all stay safe, be well, and blessings to you all. I'll see you soon.